Hi, I'm Gary. Today I'm looking at the kit of the Supermarine Attacker naval fighter in 1/48 scale from Trumpeter. If you like the video, please remember to give it the imperial thumbs up on the like button below, hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel. It's free and a great way to show your support. Let's start with a look at the box. So here we have the Trumpeter Supermarine Attacker. It's the F1 version, which is the first one that came into service. 1/48 scale. It's a nice enough piece of box art. It's very reminiscent of the one used on the classic airframes kit, which may not be a surprise, I don't know. But it is what it is. There's nothing sort of enormously dynamic about an Attacker, to be fair. Anyway, nice enough piece of box artwork. What can you do? It does say up here, fuselage length, when it's complete, will be 240.6. I think the 0.6 might be a little bit, a little bit academic. 232 mil span, and there are 90 plus plastic parts, and more than 90, not an exact number, which is kind of interesting. The box art for the F1 here, the FB one, the fighter bomber version, had some underwing stores capability, not very much, but some underwing stores capability. The FB2 had a more powerful engine, better structure internally in the wings, and it had a different pressurized hood as well. Anyway, let's have a look at the side of the box here. It gives a couple of side views of this same aircraft, 101J from HMS Eagle, 800 Squadron. You can see very straightforward camouflage scheme of sky and extra dark sea grey. A brief history of the Supermarine Attacker here, and essentially the same. The other scheme is for 106J, again from the same squadron, and it points out there's some photo etch here as well. So fairly basic amount of stuff on the outside. Let's have a look at what's on the inside. It's a top opening box. It's actually a pretty sort of substantial hard box, which is nice. Inside we have the instructions. Here we have bags for the parts. Each frame is bagged separately. There are 3 frames for building this aircraft. Over here in a separate compartment is the clear parts in its own bag, wrapped in protective plastic as well. That's essentially just the canopy and windshield in one piece. We have here the decal sheet, and we have down here the small but not insignificant photo etch sheet. But we'll have a look at all these different bits and pieces in a bit more detail. Frame A has the 2 halves of the fuselage, the tailplane parts, the intakes. These are the intake plates, the boundary layer plates here. Tail hook, the 2 tail wheels. Yes, it has 2 wheels on the tail. This I'm not entirely sure why the turbine is here, because the turbine isn't that far back in the aircraft that you can see it from the jet pipe in real life. But anyway, hey ho, it's the engine's kind of around here, not here. There we go. Anyway, those are what we get here on this frame. Frame B is obviously the wings. The lower part of the wing is in one piece, complete with the cannon barrels and a pitot tube. 2 upper wing surfaces here, and you have posable flaps, and you have all the gear doors here as well. Then on frame C, we have the tub of the aircraft, the cockpit tub, ejection seat parts, the instrument panel, wheels, undercarriage bays, undercarriage components, wing folding components, because you can do the wing fold on this kit, and the underbelly fuel tank, which is an option. The clear part comes here. This is a windshield and the canopy. The instructions don't specifically say about having the canopy slid open, but I don't see why you couldn't, realistically. Anyway, 2 parts for it. I am not aware at the moment of a set for it, a mask set for it. I will have a look, but if not, I'll just have to mask it myself. This is a sheet of photo etch. You've got the harness for the pilot. We have these two parts here, which are for the undercarriage. They're like struts in the undercarriage. And this that goes on top of the nose, that goes underneath the nose. So not too much photo etch, but enough to make a difference, I hope. Having a slightly more close look at the plastic and get some of the reflections of the light, so you can see the panel lines are actually quite fine, and that's kind of cool. Now, when I built this kit first, which was 6 or 7 years ago, I wasn't into doing things like panel line detailing, picking out these details, but it'd be really cool now to be able to pick out some of this detail. Helps you sort of see some of the construction and what the aircraft was about, really. And it's actually really nice. There's no obvious flash anywhere, which is cool. Yeah, those tail wheels are looking okay. Yeah, that's the end of the turbine for the engine, which is, I think, in the wrong place. Again, these are the elevators, and you can see the horizontal stabilizer. You see all the riveting along the fillet is actually quite nice. I mean, they're flush riveted on the actual aircraft, but these are there to show position rather than to be sort of absolutely accurate about how the riveting was done. Otherwise, you just wouldn't bother with it at all. But yeah, do you know what? The plastic does look quite nice on the inside, and all of the ejector pins are quite discreet, and some of them have been rubbed down automatically by the machine, which is good. The interior wall is, so the detail of the interior wall is pretty much non-existent. You can get aftermarket for that, which I'm kind of thinking I might do. I'll see how I go. I might just make this one as a test, and then do an all singing, all dancing one later on, maybe. But I'll see what's around. Yeah, the plastic looks pretty nice, I have to say. And likewise, some of the smaller parts, they're not like the wing fold bits here, the interior of the wing for the wing fold. They're not pin sharp, but then I don't think they've been designed terribly pin sharp. I think they've been designed reasonably chunky, but they're clean. They are, they are chunky, but they are clean. So you can do a lot with it if you want to. It's the cockpit hub there with all the stuff on the side. You can pick all of that out relatively easily, I'd have thought. There's the instrument panelers there. All the instruments are recessed, so that could be a bit of a challenge if you're using the decal that comes with it, but it's not impossible. That's the control column there. Yeah, it's all very cleanly moulded, if not massively high detail, but it is at least clean, and that's good. That makes life easy. The decal sheet is here. The common decals, of course, are the roundels, the instrument panel, the ejection seat triangles, because this had an ejection seat, various stencils and so on here and there, another one there. There are two aircraft, Whiskey Alpha 496 and Whiskey Papa 493. A 496 was an earlier aircraft, it's 101J, although you'll see that the numerals are more rounded here, and the J is more rounded, whereas the later aircraft into the fleet, 106, is more Americanized, more angular. So it actually looks a little bit older, but I think it was the other way around. I think this was a slightly older, sorry, that the slightly newer version was this. I can't remember off the top of my head. I would have to do some research into that. Anyway, two distinct styles of tail letter for the aircraft carrier. Eagle was J, probably because E, A, G and L were already taken by other ships. If we look more closely at the decals, we can see they're really, really sharply printed. This is, of course, a 0.5mm standard pencil, and you can see sling 24 volt, absolutely crisp as anything. Even the red here, keep well away from intake when engine is running. You know, this was the first jet the Royal Navy had, so it's maybe not surprising he had to tell people to keep clear of the front end, because they maybe didn't understand how dangerous it was to be anywhere near it. Instrument panel, I'm going to say it's okay. It's relatively basic, white and black, and if you remember from the frames, these are going to have to sit into the instruments quite well. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to go around doing those. I might do them as they suggest to begin with, and then in the future maybe figure out another way of doing this. And again, the ejection seat signs very sharp, very clean. Red is nice, the blue is nice. These are really, really good decals. Here's the instruction leaflet. Fairly rudimentary look to it. Simple black and white print. Stapled here for some reason, I guess because there are inserts and don't want to fall out or something. Rather than end stapling them, they surface staple them. Makes it cheap, I guess. Some general instructions here. There's some interpretations of the various icons used here, how to put decals on, stuff like that. Fairly straightforward. Inside there's a frame map, first of all, and then the instructions. First thing you can do on this, of course, is cut the wing where necessary for the wing fold, if you're doing a wing fold, which indeed I am, so I'll be doing that. Then they're saying to put the undercarriage in, flaps in. This is before you've actually done anything. Put the wing fold in, all the flap, before you've done anything else. Then do the cockpit area. You've got photo etch for the straps here, for example. To be fair, the ejection seat looks not too bad with sort of multiple part things and a separate handle and all that. Don't look too bad. Tail wheels, exhaust for the engine. Again, that seems quite short to me. I mean, it would suggest that the rear turbine for the engine is sort of rear of the wheel, which I really don't believe it is. I think it was a bit further forward than that. Anyway, we'll see later on how it all goes together. Some photo etch for the pitot and whatever, I can't remember what the top thing is. Bottom ones I think is a pitot or an angle of attack or something like that. And then, you know, once you don't build the fuselage, build the wings, bolt the two together, which is actually probably how they make the aircraft, to be fair. And then, if you want to, add the massive belly tank. So fairly straightforward looking set of instructions, to be perfectly honest. There's not an awful lot to this kit. The scheme layouts and decal layouts, again, very, very straightforward. It's a simple thing. It's sky and extra dark sea grey, or dark sea grey they call it on here. It is very, very straightforward. Not that many stencils, thank goodness. This is the earlier aircraft, Whiskey Alpha 496, and as I can say again with the rounded markings. And then on the other side is a slightly older Whiskey Papa 493, again from 800 Squadron 106J, but with the more sort of angularized, sort of almost stencil-like American looking number, but not, you'll notice, on the registration plates, on the markings on under the wings, which is kind of strange. Anyway, I'll find out more about that, I'm sure, in a while. There it is. Looks a decent kit overall, simple enough to make and seems a fair amount of detail. I'll be making it before too long. Remember, if you've enjoyed the show, please do give it the imperial thumbs up on the like button below, hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching today. See you soon. Goodbye.